My name is Eileen. You may not know me, but if you surfed the internet enough, chances are you know my daughter. She became popular for making a lot of videos where she got mad about things. All of these videos are acted out. Nothing my daughter says is real, except for one video, the most popular one on her channel, where she says she hates minions. Every time she sees them, she has a fit of rage or just cries. When she was a kid, she used to love them. But a few years ago, something happened. An experience that would change our lives forever. And in this story, we will tell you about it. It all started on a normal day. I had to go downtown to do some business. My daughter, whom I will call Anna, had no classes, so I had to take her with me. Anna was a very restless girl, one of those kids that you can't neglect for a moment, because if they see something that catches their attention, they will go and take a closer look, and that's exactly what happened. On the way to the post office, we both met a man dressed as a minion. To Anna, this seemed completely natural and even funny, but to me, it gave me a very bad vibe. The man did not have a conventional minion costume, but rather the costume was attached to his body. It was like a human minion that looked like something out of a child's nightmare. I was terrified. When the minion saw us, he raised his hand and greeted us.
Mom, may I say hello? Please, Mom?
No, Anna, remember what I always tell you, you must not talk to strangers.
But he's not a stranger. He's a minion, just like in the movie.
I know, honey, but there are a lot of minions. Not all of them are good. Stay away from him.
Okay, Mom.
I went into the mailroom with Anna, thinking she had learned her lesson. I took out the documents I had to send, and as I looked at my turn in line, I looked around and, terrified, noticed that my daughter was not by my side. I came out of the mailroom, desperate, and saw her a few feet away. The minion was standing next to her, saying something in her ear. Anna was perplexed, her eyes wide, surprised and terrified. I ran to her and pulled her away. Anna burst into tears as I had never seen her cry before.
"What did you say to my daughter, you psycho?"
In response, the minion raised his hand and waved at me. I grabbed him by the suit and shook him violently, but all my fury turned to fear as I made a discovery. Behind the minion's glasses, I could see one of the eyes of the person wearing the suit. I couldn't see the right eye, but the left eye was tinged with blood red. The eye was open, full of veins, staring nervously at me. I let go of the man, grabbed my daughter, and without finishing my business at the post office, we headed for home. As I was leaving, I turned around and behind me, the minion was waving at us.
"Baby, I told you not to go near that minion. You should always listen to Mom."
Anna didn't answer me. She just looked ahead, terrified.
"Oh God, Anna, what did that scary man say to you?"
Again, she didn't answer me, but this time she started crying and hugged me.
"Oh, my baby. That man won't do anything to you. You're with Mommy."
Suddenly, Anna quickly pulled away from me and walked backward, scared.
Mommy, the minion, he's behind you.
Incredulous, I turned around. Behind me, half a block away, the man in the minion costume was standing on the sidewalk, waving at us from a distance.
"Oh God, Anna, we have to go."
I grabbed her hand and walked very fast. I took several detours to lose him and even got on a bus. Every time I thought I had lost him, he was there, standing there, waving at us. This was no accident. This man was following us, and he made no effort to hide it. When we arrived at our apartment, I locked the door to the building and went to our room on the second floor. I opened the windows and looked out. The man was downstairs, looking at me with his eyes. When he saw me, he looked at me and greeted me. Even though he now knew where I lived, there was nothing he could do to reach me before I called the police. I stepped away from the window and dialed the number. The 911 operator was surprised by what I told her, but she believed me and told me she would notify the nearest patrol cars.
Ah!
Anna's scream scared me. I looked in her direction and saw that she was pointing at the window. I looked in her direction, and from the shock, I dropped the phone, which broke on the spot. The minion was in front of us. Did he climb 2 floors of a building on his own, not caring that people were watching him? Where did he get this strength? Before our bewildered gaze, the minion finished climbing and climbed into the house. Standing in front of the window, he raised his hand and greeted us.
What the hell do you want? I already called the police. Get away from us!
Without paying attention to me, the man took off his minion mask, and behind it, we met the worst. His skin was yellow, painted like a minion, but something was very wrong. Where his right eye should have been, there was a huge gap. Had he removed his eye to look more like a minion? His mouth also had a problem. His lips and mouth were cut off, so his smile was much more sinister and bigger than normal. As the minion began to greet us, I quickly went to a compartment in the kitchen and pulled out a revolver I had stored to defend myself. I shot him 3 times in the chest, and the man went down. But my relief was short-lived, because a few seconds later, he stood up as if nothing had happened.
No, this is impossible!
Terrified, I dropped the gun and ran to the exit door. I tried to put the keys in the door, but it was too late. The minion was glued to me. I fell to the floor in fear, and he crouched down and came even closer. I was up against the wall, face to face with his terrifying person.
Do you wanna be my friend?
Mom, no!
Before I could process what was happening, I saw Anna, in desperation, smash a plate over the minion's head. This seemed to hurt him, and he backed away, to which Anna began to kick him angrily. The man recovered and lunged at her, but I managed to grab her, put the key in the door, and lock him inside the apartment. I stood there, waiting for the police to come. When they arrived a few minutes later, I assumed the man was gone. I kept an eye on the keyhole to see if anyone was there.
Oh my God! He's still there!
I gave the keys to the police, who came in and arrested the man. Soon after, I found out that this man had no identity, no police records, no nothing. He was like a ghost. The only thing that put my mind at ease was to confirm that he was human, since the cops told me that my shots did not kill him because he was wearing a bulletproof vest. I could never be calm again after that day, but poor Anna got the worst of it. The trauma was so great that from that day on, every time she sees a minion, she goes crazy and rushes at it, attacking it as if her life depended on it.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy.
The image you just saw was of a strange man dressed like a minion found at Omegle chat room. The true identity of this man is unknown. The following story you are about to see is loosely based on this man's creepy appearance. I was 16 when this incident happened. My uncle and aunt visited us during Halloween with my cousin Riley. She was 2 years younger than me at the time, so on the night of Halloween, we had a delicious dinner with our family, and then my mom and dad went to their friend's house, taking my aunt and uncle with them.
Don't do anything reckless, girls, and be sure to lock all the doors behind us, okay? Yes, Mom.
They left around 9. Riley and I had the house to ourselves for the first time, so we were pretty excited. We decided to have this late-night snack in my room and watch some scary movies. I prepared a cheese dip and poured a bowl full of nachos. Riley grabbed a tub of chocolate ice cream, and we started climbing the stairs.
Have you heard about Omegle?
Riley asked while following me. As surprising as it may sound, I hadn't heard about it back then. So I said, "No, is that a movie you want to watch?"
No. God, you are so funny.
What is it then? I placed the food tray on my bed and sat down. Riley sat beside me and said,
It's an online website where people can talk to strangers around the world.
"Really? Is that safe?"
I've tried it only once at my friend Trevor's house. We met a nice girl, though. She was from India. We talked and cracked some jokes. It was fun.
That sounds nice.
And the great part is we don't even have to open an account. It's random, and we can disconnect anytime we want.
Realizing this was a good idea to spend a fun night, Riley and I decided to chat with strangers on Omegle. I fired up my laptop, placed it on the bed right in front of us, and began talking to strangers. We got connected to a girl who claimed to be a huge fan of Justin Bieber. After talking to her for a few minutes, we got bored of her ranting about Justin, so we disconnected the call to try someone new. The website screen buffered for a few seconds, and then we got connected to a middle-aged man. He was dressed as a Minion and staring at us with a smile. The occasion being Halloween, we didn't feel anything odd about his attire. He spoke, imitating the funny voice of the Minions.
Bello!
Hi, what's your name?
Kevin.
Hi, I'm Nina, and this is my sister, Riley.
I want banana.
I like your Halloween costume.
Thank you!
We were feeling entertained by his Minion voice and mimicry. Riley took a spoonful of ice cream and was just about to eat it when suddenly the guy screamed.
Gelato! Gelato!
And started clapping like a 4-year-old. I laughed, seeing how much he was in character. Riley smiled too and said, "So what is your real name?" That's when his face changed. He got really upset and started crying. Not expecting a middle-aged man to cry like that, we got shocked. The man went to wipe his tears and, in the process, kind of messed up the yellow-white paint on his face. Now, when he was done crying, he looked at us. A few seconds ago, the guy who seemed funny was now looking very creepy. His eyes were bloodshot, and he screamed in a rough voice.
So, you two think I'm a fake, huh? Is there no one who appreciates me?
Hey, sorry if we offended you. You are very funny. Hearing this, a weird smile appeared on his face and kept staring at us while smiling like that. He wasn't even blinking, only staring at his camera, holding that creepy grin. Feeling awkward and cringed, Riley said, "Well, happy Halloween. It was nice to meet you."
Don't you dare walk out on me!
What? Excuse me?
I said, don't even think about disconnecting this call. You twig witches think you own the world and you can do as you please. I am here to show you where you belong.
What the hell is wrong with you, man? The man suddenly got up from his chair and went somewhere. Meanwhile, the call was still connected. Feeling scared and disturbed by his sudden change of behavior, I said to Riley, "What are you waiting for? Just disconnect the call. That man is a creep." "No, I'm going to set him straight when he comes back. After that, I'll disconnect." Riley got very angry and had no other option. I too waited for the man to come back. After a few seconds, we heard a girl's cry. The cry was getting louder each second. And then, suddenly, the man moved his computer screen, which illuminated his entire room. What we saw made our hearts skip a beat. He was holding a metal chain, which was a dog leash, and instead of a dog, that leash was tied around the neck of a teenage girl, probably my age. Half her face was burnt. We could see the exposed gum, teeth, and white cheekbones gushing from the burnt flesh. The eye on that burnt side was bulging out of her eye socket. Her body was painted purple, and she had a purple nightdress on. There was also a messy purple hair wig, and it wasn't difficult to guess which character she was playing. The man had turned her into an evil minion, and now he was playing the role of her master. He looked at the girl and said,
Tell them, who is your god? Tell them!
"You are master.
Tell them why!
My master is brave, and one of a kind. If you disobey him, he will smash your spine."
Right!
"Oh my God! Who are you? Tell us, where are you? We'll call the cops for you!" I screamed, seeing the poor girl. But the girl kept repeating the lines. "My master is brave, and one of a kind. If you disobey him, he will smash your spine." "What have you done to her, you freak?"
Doesn't she look nice?
Riley and I decided to call the cops, when suddenly we heard another voice inside the man's room. "Jordan, what's taking you so long? I didn't bring my brother and his wife to your house just to get bored at a Halloween party." and the speaker of the voice walked right in front of the screen.
Mom? Oh my God, you guys know him?
My mom saw me and Riley on the screen, and her face turned pale. We realized what kind of sick Halloween party our parents were having at their friend Jordan's house, who was all this time pretending to be the funny minion, Kevin. I couldn't take it anymore. I disconnected the call right away. Riley started crying, realizing how evil our parents are. We called the cops and told them everything. What happened after that put a full stop to our lives. The cops tracked down this man named Jordan and found his house, but it was too late for that poor girl. Once they reached there, they found the entire house on fire. And later, they only discovered one body, which was a teenage girl reported missing last week. Jordan and my parents were gone. Even my uncle and aunt went with them. We have no idea where they are, and we haven't gotten a call from them yet. Riley is now under foster care, and I'm living with my grandma. Our life has become purposeless and a series of trauma. Both Riley and I are going through therapy because very few kids in the world get to discover such horrifying truths about their parents. The only thing I want to say to my parents is that, Mom, Dad, if you're watching this, stay the hell away from me. I'll be better off without you two sick psychos. Back in 2010, when Despicable Me came out, my parents took me and my older sister to see the movie. Even though I was only 5 years old at the time, I can still remember my excitement when I saw those funny, cute, yellow little creatures, the Minions. Since then, I became a huge fan of them. I had toys, posters, overalls, and I even always wore yellow. Of course, I was the happiest girl in the world when, 5 years later, the movie Minions was released.
Mom!
Yes, Angela? By then, my dad had died a few years ago, so it was my mom's responsibility to pay for everything we needed. I didn't notice, but she worked nonstop.
Don't you know? A Minions movie is coming out.
Really?
Yes, I'd like to go see it.
We'll go later, little one.
You always say the same thing.
My mom looked up from her computer so she could look at me. I'm so sorry, my sweet Angela. I try, but I'm always busy.
I know.
My mother stared at me for a few seconds until she smiled. I'll tell Sarah to go with you, okay?
Sarah!
My sister Sarah was 15 years old at the time. It really seemed like she didn't want to go see that movie with me, but she ended up agreeing after making a deal with Mom. Bye, Mom.
Have fun, girls. We will, Mommy.
Sarah and I hailed a cab as soon as we could, since Mom had insisted, and in no time we made it to the nearest cinema in town. There were movie posters outside, among which was one of the ones I wanted to see.
Minions!
I ran toward it to observe it in more detail. It didn't take long for me to turn to my sister.
See, Sarah?
There, next to Sarah, was Alexa, her best friend. I soon walked toward them, who didn't even look at me until I spoke.
Hi, Alexa. Are you going to see Minions with us? It'll be so much fun.
My sister immediately looked at me with annoyance, but Alexa started laughing.
Do you think we're really going to watch that movie with you? You are too innocent. But that's why we came here, isn't it, Sarah?
We came here because you want to see that movie, Angela, but I don't. So we'll go eat while you watch it.
Alone?
Yes, alone. Let's go. She took me by the wrist, and then the three of us went into the cinema and lined up to buy my ticket. I couldn't help but stare at who was in front of us. It was a very tall man who was wearing black clothes. I couldn't take a look at his face, but just seeing his figure was making me nervous.
Sarah?
What do you want now?
Why won't you watch the movie with me?
I thought that was obvious, Angela. It's a fucking children's movie. We're not kids anymore. Why can't you understand? And I'm sick of the Minions. Your creepy obsession is fucking exhausting.
It's not an obsession. I just like them a lot. Please don't use bad words.
Or what? You'll tell Mom? No, you won't. You won't tell her this or that you watched the movie alone. Now go on over there while we buy your ticket. I did what she told me. I got out of line and went to sit on a bench while I looked at the floor without thinking about what had happened.
Hello, girl.
I raised my head to see the man once I heard him, but I didn't answer. It was him, the person who was in front of us in line.
You like Minions, don't you? You're dressed just like one.
The man seemed familiar to me. It was when he mentioned my outfit that I realized.
And you look like Gru.
That's right.
But I think he won't appear in this movie.
Maybe yes, maybe no. You seem like a good girl, so I'm going to give you a present. Take it.
He handed me a ticket to go see the movie.
Aren't you going to see it?
I already did.
Angela!
After the man left, my sister approached.
You're not going to believe it. Gru gave me a ticket.
I held it out to her to show it, but she just snatched it away from me.
Hey!
Great, this will make everything easier. I'll go in with you and then I'll leave, understand?
Yeah.
Minutes after she left me alone in the cinema, the movie started. I forgot everything else while watching it. Of course, I was very happy and had a lot of fun, but everything changed as soon as it finished. Sarah had told me where she and Alexa would be. I knew that I should just go look for them, but being alone made me very nervous. Everything got worse as soon as I got out and noticed that it was already dark.
Why did you have to do this, Sarah?
I started to walk toward the restaurant where they would be, when, in the alley next to the cinema, I noticed something. 3 strange silhouettes. One was very tall, while the others, huge, were lying on the ground. The tall person was hitting one of the other 2. Suddenly, the lights of a passing car gave me a better look for a moment. The 2 things on the ground were yellow.
Minions?
The tall person stopped and slowly turned to me. I could only see their eyes in the darkness.
They deserve it. They have what they deserve. This is what you deserve too, little one.
I didn't move as I was frozen in fear. But the man didn't approach me. He just ran in the opposite direction. Even though I was scared, I slowly walked toward the minions.
Hello?
They didn't even move.
I want to help.
Finally, I reached one of them.
Hey.
I tried to move back to get away, but it didn't take long for the minion to grab one of my ankles, bringing me down. The huge minion continued to approach me. Since he couldn't walk for some reason, he was crawling on the ground with the help of his arms. When he was within inches of me again, he began to push off with my knees.
Stop it!
His massive body was crushing my legs more and more as he got closer to my face. For some reason, I could feel how warm drops fell from his mouth onto my overalls. I assumed it was saliva.
It hurts! Stop!
I fell silent the moment I had his giant mouth and fangs right in front of my face. Only our breathing could be heard.
Help me!
A car passed close to me again. That's when I saw her for a few seconds. Inside the Minion costume was Sarah. Her jaw was as open and destroyed as the Minion's. That day, after a person heard me and came to help, they called my mom and took Sarah and Alexa to the hospital by ambulance, as they were both in the same horrible condition. The 2 died shortly after, as they couldn't survive the torture that man had done to them.